Greetings, my name is Kerry and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about what I'm planning on reading in April. It's an interesting time at the moment because due to lockdown regulations in the UK at the moment, I'm working from home, so it is kind of meaning I'm having a little bit more time for reading, but also because of general anxiety coming in waves about what is going on and not being able to see friends and family and that sort of thing, I don't have a lot of attention span for reading, so I find myself in quite an interesting situation. Basically, my plan for April, with one very significant exception, is to just try and read really short things. So we'll start with the significant exception. My friend Bex from Ninja Book Box decided it might be a fun time to try and do a read-along of a really massive book that a lot of us have been meaning to get to for a while. I hadn't bought it, but then when I saw this readathon was happening, I decided to buy a copy because I have really wanted to read it for a while. So we're doing a read-along of Duck's Newburyport by Lucy Ellman. This was shortlisted for the Booker Prize last year. We're going to be doing it over 10 weeks. So we're halfway through the first week and we're planning to finish it. So we're planning to finish it around the beginning of June. You can see I've tabbed it up for how much I'm meant to be reading each week, and I've read about 40 pages so far. It's quite a challenging read because it is almost entirely told as a stream of consciousness in one sentence. There are other sections, but actually so far I'm quite enjoying it. The only difficulty is knowing when to stop, but I'm finding it quite soothing. So I am trying to vlog as I go along with this. I'm not sure how frequently I'm going to upload those vlogs. I probably won't wait until I finish the whole book because that'd be quite a lot of footage, so I'm going to try and edit it as I go along. Maybe upload 2 or 3 vlogs, maybe one a month or every other week or something, so you can see my progress with it. But we'll see how we get on with that. It's certainly interesting. And then the rest of the books I've picked are all under 300 pages, so that's sort of been my goal, is because I can't concentrate for very long, or I'm struggling to get into longer books, so I have a couple on the go that I just haven't been able to really get into very well. So I am going to try and finish them before the end of the month. It's not quite the end of March when I'm filming this, but then my plan for April is just I've picked all books that are quite short and should be quite quick to read. The other sort of exception, but it's not really because it does fit that criteria, is my theology book club book for April, which is called Clergy in a Complex Age, which is a collection of essays edited by Jamie Harrison and Robert Innes. Yeah, this is, well, it says it's a collection of essays about what it means to be a church leader in a time where there's lots of change and lots of debates going on. So I started this today. I read the first one and quite enjoyed it so far. Don't actually know what's happening about the book club because obviously we can't meet in person. They haven't let us know yet whether it's going to be, I think it's probably going to be Zoom meetings, which is what my church is using to carry on their engagement with the community while we can't meet in person. Yes, I'm going to try and read that before we're due to meet, and hopefully we will be able to meet up online and have a chat about it. Because I'm picking short books, I have not used a random number generator this month to pick my book death row books. I've just picked the 3 shortest on the list, so because I've not randomised it, I've just said I'm going to try and read all 3 of the shortest ones. So they are 2 that have been on there a little while and 1 that's only been added fairly recently. So the one that's quite new on there is The Herring Seller's Apprentice by Elsie Tyler. This is, I think, a cosy mystery. It's about Ethelred Tressida, who's a crime writer, and then his ex-wife goes missing and his agent Elsie has to try and help him figure out what happened. I read the first chapter of this and I wasn't quite sure about the tone. I think it's meant to be quite funny, but I didn't find it funny, so I'm going to give it a go and see how I get into it, because I do quite like cosy mysteries, but if I don't like the tone or the writing style, then I will not carry on with it. And then we have The Confidential Agent by Graham Greene. So I have a bit of a hit and miss relationship with Graham Greene books. Some of them I've read I've really enjoyed and others I haven't. This was one of the oldest books on my TBR, which is why I ended up on Book Death Row. I think it is about, in fact I'm not entirely sure what it's about. It's some sort of adventure story. I don't know whether it's kind of a spy novel. That's the implication of the title, but we'll see as we get into it. So yeah, I'm going to give that one a try. And then this one is Father and Son by Edmund Gosse. So this is a memoir about Edmund Gosse's experience growing up in a very conservative Christian family around the time that Darwin was publishing his theories of natural selection and evolution and that sort of thing. And his father was one of the main challengers of Darwin. So my dad gave this one to me. I think it could be quite interesting, but we'll see. So those are my 3 death row ones. Now the next 3 books actually will have seen they've featured on TBRs. I haven't got around to them in the month I said I was going to read them, so I'm going to try and get to them in this month instead, and we'll see how that goes. So I've got 2 Read Around the World ones because I've got a bit behind with Read Around the World. The book that I picked for January was from a Spanish author, and then once I added it onto the website I realised I'd already read a book from a Spanish author. But I did actually in March manage to read 2 books that counted for Read Around the World. It means that if I can read both of these 2 that I haven't managed to read yet this year that I've meant to, then I will be caught up on one a month. So we've got Shadows on the Tundra, which I spoke about in my March TBR, which is a collection of writing of the author Daria Grinkevičiūtė, which I've probably mangled that name, I'm very sorry. She was Lithuanian and she and her family were deported to Siberia during the Second World War, and she escaped and wrote down her experiences and buried it, and then it was discovered in 1991 and published. So these are her experiences. Sounds like it's going to be excellent, and I really love what Perrine produces, so I'm looking forward to reading that. And then this one was the one that was on my February TBR, which again I didn't manage to get to. This is Round About £1 a Week by Maud Pember's Reeves. This was given to me for Christmas in the Persephone Book Swap, again hosted by Ninja Book Box, and it is about surviving on the poverty line. So again, could be very interesting. I think it's a novel, but we will see. And then the next one you'll recognise as well was also on my March TBR, which is a library book, Picnic on Hanging Rock. I'm kind of in the mood to get to this one soon actually now. I should say as well actually, while I'm holding up a library book, that because the libraries are currently closed, all my loans have been extended until June, so there's no pressure at the moment to finish the library books, but I do want to finish them all before they are actually due back for once. While I'm not actually naming them on this TBR, some of them, although they're over 300 pages, are quite easy reads. I've got a couple of YA books out, YA fantasy, that, or science fiction, that sort of thing, so if I'm in the mood for them, it's not going to stop me picking them up and trying to get through them, because I mean they'll probably be the bulk of my May TBR at this rate, so that I can finish them before they're all due back in June. But yeah, I'm going to try and get to this one this month. So this one is about a school at the turn of the century, beginning of the 20th century in Australia. It's a girls' finishing school, and they go out for a picnic one day, and 4 of the girls disappear without a trace. Was it three of the girls? I can't remember exactly. Anyway, it was adapted for TV, and I recently watched the TV series and thought it was brilliant. So really looking forward to reading this. It's, yeah, kind of mystery thriller. Next I have a reread because I really want to get into the series. This is Anne of Green Gables by Ellman Montgomery. So I've read this one before, but I haven't read any of the rest of the series before. I really want to get on with the series because now I don't own all of them, but I own most of them, so I want to get going with that series. So I thought I'll reread this one this month. It'll be quite a straightforward read because I've read it before, although I read it when I was in my early teens, so it's quite a while ago now. I'm not sure how much I remember, but really keen to get into this one. So this is about an orphan Anne who is taken in by a family and what she learns from that experience. It's classic. I think most people are fairly familiar with the story of this one. Next we have one of the oldest books on my TBR again. This is an Agatha Christie one. This is The Secret Adversary. This is the first book in the Tommy and Tuppence Partners in Crime series, which I've not read any of those before yet. So I had a toss-up between putting this one on the list or the next Poirot book that I haven't read yet, but this one's been on my TBR for longer, so I'm going to start on this series as well, and then I will alternate until I've read all of these. I'm trying to read one a month, either of Tommy and Tuppence or Poirot. If I get through all of these, I might try and read the Poirot as well. Anyway, I'm not sure yet. I don't know too much about this. I do remember they did adapt them for TV, but I don't know how faithful they were to the books. I think they changed the time period they were set in, but it was a good series, and I really enjoy Agatha Christie. These are more adventure novels rather than straight mysteries, so they're a bit different to the ones that I've read so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're like, really, and whether I enjoy them as much as I enjoy the mystery books that she wrote. Next we have a book that is continuing a series that I've really been enjoying. So this is The Jinni Key by Bethany Atazadeh. So I read The Stolen Kingdom in December. Bethany Atazadeh is an author tuber who I really like, and this is a fantasy retelling series of fairy tales. So the first book was an Aladdin retelling, this one is a Little Mermaid retelling. I just really enjoy her interpretation of these stories and how she is weaving them all together. The third one comes out later this year, so that's part of the reason for reading this now, so when the third one comes out I can read that straight away. The stories are linked. This follows different characters, but they appeared in the first books. It's not a straight series in that sense, it's more like companion novels, but I'm really interested to see how this series develops. That is next on my list. Also, I really love the covers. They are so beautiful. Really excited to carry on with that series. Oh yeah, I have another one that is a continuation of a series as well. So this is Sightwitch by Susan Dennard. I think this is a prequel, but you're meant to read it between books 2 and 3 of the Witchland series. So I read Windwitch in January, and I have Bloodwitch, but I did see online she says read this one before you read Bloodwitch, because then there are like Easter eggs and clues and things that pop up in Bloodwitch that make more sense if you've read Sightwitch. I mean, I really love this series. I really love Susan Dennard as an author, so I'm really keen to read this, but at the same time I'm a little bit reluctant because we don't know when the 4th book is coming out. So once I've read this and then I've only got Bloodwitch to read, and then who knows how long I'll have to wait before the 4th one. At some point I'll be buying the first 2 books and I will probably reread them lots. I can wait. I'm sure I can. Anyway, so I'm going to try and read this one. This is fairly high on my list to get to. I don't know what order I'm going to go through any of these in, but I will try and get to this one. Next we have probably the one I'm least worried if I don't get to it in April. I nearly said February then, that was weird. It is one that I want to read, and I didn't realise how short it was actually, or I probably would have read it already. This is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is my lovely Art Deco cover I got in Hay on Wye last year. It's been a book that I've been wanting to read for a really long time and I've never quite got around to it yet, so I thought it's just over 200 pages, so I thought I can try and get to it when I'm reading shorter books, but because it's a classic, I've not read any F. Scott Fitzgerald before, I don't know how heavy his books are. There's a thing about reading sort of classic books that some of them, like a Dickens, they're good, but they're not easy reads, they're quite heavy reads, or whereas something like Jane Austen, which I've read them all before and she has a much lighter tone, so they don't feel quite as difficult, and I don't know where F. Scott Fitzgerald falls on that scale for me yet, so we will see if I get to it or not. And then I have 2 new books. So one of these I bought for myself and one was bought for me. So first I will shout out to Justine from I Should Read That. She gifted me Every Heart a Doorway by Joan and McGuire. A couple of weeks ago, a few people on Twitter put up Amazon wish lists and said, share your wish list, treat people, and so I bought a couple of things for a couple of people and I was gifted a couple of things, this and something else. So thanks so much to Justine for giving this to me. I'm really excited to read it. I've heard so many good things about this series and this is quite a short one, so hopefully quite a quick read, but then once I start on this series I'm going to have to buy them all, I'm sure. I'm really confident I'm going to love this. I really hope I do. I hope I haven't hyped it up too much for myself. The Wayward Children series is about children that have found their way into other worlds, like Narnia or the Goblin Market, that sort of thing, and what happens to them when they come back from those other worlds. I've heard so many good things about the series, I can't wait. And then finally, this one should be a really easy read as well. So this I bought on the recommendation of one of my work colleagues. They've been sharing pictures from it on our group chat since we've been all working from home to try and cheer us up. So this is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. I'm not quite sure how you say that. So this is actually a picture book and it's got really beautiful illustrations. It's just a couple of sentences on every page actually, so it's a bit of a cheap book really. I'm hoping this will be a really uplifting thing to read at this time, and so yes, so that's on the list as well. Again, I've set myself, it's quite an ambitious TBR, I realise that, but because they're all short and I'm a mood reader, I think I'll get through quite a lot of them. I hope I will. And then also I have still got all those library books that are out at the moment as well, so I'll be dipping in and out of this list. But I just thought that was quite a fun way to try and get me excited about reading, because I just don't always have the energy or the concentration to do it at the moment, so I thought picking shorter books should enable me, hopefully, to get invested in them, and then they'll be quick and it won't be as difficult as trying to get invested in a really long book. Other than obviously Duck's Newburyport, but we're reading that over 10 weeks, so that should be fine. I mean, I hope. So let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Tell me what you're planning on reading in April. Are you struggling to read at the moment as well? I think there's so much anxiety in the air everywhere that I think a lot of people are struggling. So let me know how you are coping. Please do make contact. Chat to me in the comments. Catch me on social media as well. I'm on Twitter and I'm on Goodreads, and if you just want someone to talk to about books or anything, let me know. I'm really, like, I live on my own, so I'm really trying to make more connections and engage with people and just make sure I'm getting enough social contact in without being able to actually see people, and it's really difficult. Also, please do like this video if you liked it, and please subscribe if you want to see more content from me. My upload schedule is all over the place at the moment, but I'm still trying to upload at least one video a week, hopefully 2 when I can, and try and bring a bit more normality into my life by doing that. So stay tuned for more videos from me. But that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!